to meet you.
Nice to Aloha!
Aloha!
Welcome to our demo for the Salesforce Hawaii user group this month, and David and I will be covering the sticky selection lightning web component, and we're going to be doing a demo. So that's our names. So I'm Karen Sabot, and I am in the Olona Dev Shop as an apprentice, and I am on the Salesforce developer track. And here we have David Pickett. He's our Purple Mai'a CTO, and we'll be introducing ourselves more in the next few minutes. So today's agenda, we're going to do an intro, talk about Purple Mai'a. Actually, how many people know about Purple Mai'a or Hiapo already? How many don't? Okay, so there are a few. And then we'll go over the use case for the Lightning Web Component in the flow that we built, and go over the demo. So that's our version 1, which we initially called Speedy Sticky Data Grid. And then followed by that, we're going to go over the roadmap and the evolution for our Lightning Web Component to becoming an open source project. And David will then demo our latest version now that we are an open source project, and we've named it Sticky Selectron, followed by Q&A.
Purple Mai'a is a nonprofit that primarily does education, entrepreneurship, and workforce development here in Hawaii. It's culturally rooted. We got started teaching kids computer science, but it's obviously grown a lot since then over the years. I'm the CTO. I got involved as a teacher, but ended up taking on lots of software and IT projects and getting into Salesforce over the last couple of years. So, talk about Hiapo. So Hiapo, Workforce Development Program, focuses on Salesforce. A lot of you are part of Hiapo or have gone through Hiapo or are Hiapo teachers. And so this has been a great project, working with Karen, and like she mentioned, she came through Hiapo's side as a student and as an apprentice, and then took on this project.
So to expand on Hiapo, it starts off as a 3-week introductory course, and once you go through that, you have the option to register for the 12-week intensive course, and that is a lot of fun. You're going to be learning a whole lot of Salesforce. And at the end of the 12 weeks, you'll do a Huike, which is your graduation project. So there you're going to experience how to come up with a project in 2 weeks flat. So anybody still doing their project?
Starting soon.
Alrighty. Oh, 6 weeks in. Yeah, you're gonna have a lot of fun. And as far as the Olona Dev Shop, that is the third option after your 12-week intensive. So you can apply for the Dev Shop, where you can learn how to become a better Salesforce administrator, or in my case, I'm on the Salesforce developer track. And the reason why it's called Olona is it's named after a Hawaiian plant, which is very good for cordage. So it's a really strong fiber that's was used in shipping rigging. And the reason why they chose it is it's a fiber, and the Dev Shop, we're part of the community, and we want to weave ourselves as strong members of the community. This is a shout out to Bigger Boat Consulting. So they're the people that we were doing the Lightning Web Component for. They are a partner of Purple Mai'a, and the project that we did was for Mercy Housing over there on the left. It's a project that has some funding from some of the Microsoft co-founders. So they're a big housing project. I mean, they have several thousand people and in several states, and so they needed the Lightning Web Component that we're going to demo. So this is what we're talking about, where what they asked for was to create a Lightning Web Component that can be used in a flow for easy contact selection. And the use case, the reason why that they wanted us to do it is because current solutions were insufficient. So any of you NPSP, or the program management module called PMM. So it had some limitations, which we'll go over. So in the program module, they deal with hundreds, sometimes thousands of people, and because they're dealing with federal grants, they need to be able to get the roster to document them. So sometimes they'd have, say, 50 people that are taking a class or training, say financial literacy or an after-school class. Then they'd have another program right after it where they're giving after-school snacks. But not all of them would be participating. And the way that program management module works is if you change the service, for instance, a different program like after-school snacks, after classes and training, you have to reselect all the people from scratch again. So that doesn't quite work when you've got like hundreds of people that are taking these classes. And then, for instance, there'd be like a third option where after the after-school snacks, some people would stay for one-on-one coaching. Again, they would either use the same set of people or a subset of them, but they don't want to go through a list of hundreds or thousands of residents.
So what Karen just demoed is what the client is currently using and happy with. That version of the code was limited to just contacts. So the team that was working on it started talking about what's the possible roadmap, what's some other things we can work on. These are some of the ideas that the team came up with. The first one that we wanted to tackle basically before, because this is still, what we had it is contacts only was still like private source code, like we made it for the client and they were using it. We packaged it up in an unlocked package and they used that. But to release to the world, we wanted to really do this one, this S object, right? Because having a selector interface, right? It doesn't have to just be contacts. That's what the client wanted. That's what we built. But it turned out it was pretty easy to generalize it. I don't know if we have a next. Oh, so at that point also is when we got connected with the Salesforce Open Source Commons folks. And the idea was by following a certain kind of workflow, adopting certain tools, having certain requirements on our team, we could come together under the Salesforce Commons umbrella, release our code open source, and get all the support of various folks at Salesforce, Salesforce Labs, release engineers, security review, all that. So our team is using a demo org that one of our volunteers set up for us, so everybody can kind of test out of one place. You know, as we said, we also have Cumulus CI and Scratch org. So what Karen was showing on her screen was a Scratch org, and this one is our team demo org. So we've now got it branded as Sticky Selectron. Karen also set us up a bunch of social media accounts, so follow Sticky Selectron, yeah. And so this is basically the first public version, and we did a number of updates and also changed the call pattern a little bit, way shorter. So as Karen alluded to earlier, we used to have kind of the idea of like a maximum of, I think it was like 6 columns on the left and like, what, 2 or 3 columns on the right. We wanted to, in this first version that we released to the public, try to make the parameter set kind of as future-proof as we could, at least for the foreseeable future. So we can still add on to it, you know, we can still make changes in the future, but we didn't want to change, we didn't want to like take away people's parameters once they actually start using it in production. So we went to this idea of like the left table's field names as an array and the right table's field names as an array. And in the future, we can make more improvements. Like we can actually have an LWC to configure our LWC and make everything easier to use. But for now, it's a much shorter parameter list. And let's see what it looks like. So also in our package, this was packaged and deployed using Cumulus CI. The example flow that we have in our repo is focused on accounts, basically to show that our new S object version can work. We've tested it on contacts in the same way that we used the old one. This example one is in contacts, but it works the same way. You know, you can sort on any of the defined columns, all the columns you can pass in when whoever's making the flow puts the flow together, do all the same selecting, do all the same searching. In my example repo, or my example org, I've only got 11 records, but we've tested up to 2,000 and it has pretty good performance. As you may have seen on the previous slide, we also have plans to look at performance better than 2,000 records. That's just on the roadmap. Q&A.
Thanks so much for presenting. Really appreciate it. We're thinking the next meeting will probably be in early January, some sort of social holiday event. Still working on venues.